Should be good. Should be going. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you all got some rest and some sleep. I certainly had a delightful weekend. Got to see Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. I had not actually seen that yet, which is a bit strange because it's one of the visual inspirations for a lot of the stuff I'm working on. But yeah, we're here. We're gonna finish up our ghosty character. Um, and then we should be in a good place. I did undo the like bone and joint placement that I had done previously. That was before I went through and re-remembered everything I should do for rig and such. So we'll go ahead and just recreate all of that goodness now. Yeah, no, it should be on now. Also, welcome, Stray. You're impressed and happy that you're the first one here, right on the money. Yeah, I guess technically it's like 3 minutes after the time. But yeah, no. So I, you freaked me out probably as much. You freaked me out a lot because there was the chat still going, and you were typing in the chat before I started the stream. I didn't even know that was possible. So kudos to you for being the early bird today. Psyched me out. Okay, let's do this here. So, boom, boom. And this should be a very, very simple rig. I also have learned a lot about rigging that I learn is a bit of a strong word. There's just a bunch of stuff about rigging that like I haven't used previously and now get to use that's like really, really cool. As I've sort of been taking the notes, and there's been some really, really cool stuff resulting from that. I realize that's not really saying anything. Um, but this should be pretty simple. So I got, and I'll sort of tell everybody here, I got distracted, and there's a number of things that I should be doing and should be working on that I haven't been. But I also am making something really cool. So just as a quick note, I went through and essentially was making the notes for myself on rigging, like notes on rigging and just things that can be done with rigging and so on and so forth. And one of the sort of like results of that is I now have this like huge document um, of how to rig things. And a part of that document was that I was going through and recreating a bunch of mechanisms and little like interactions in Blender with like bones and everything like that, so that I could take screenshots of that and then put that in the document for myself. And I was realizing that pretty quickly there, I was ending up with a very like robust document for rigging. And basically, hold on, did the audio die? Game? No, it's just crazy quiet. There we go. Um, and so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna like sort of polish up this document for other people to read, and the Blender file with all of the example rigging mechanisms, and then offer that up both for the patrons, and then maybe start like a cube brush or a Gumroad or something like that. So if you're interested in rigging and are like want to just know, it's not meant to like teach you rigging from scratch, but is more like a like master cheat sheet for all your like rigging needs. I might that's what I've essentially been working on. So I got distracted with like a side project. I apologize, but it's really cool and it's really fun, and I've even learned some new things from doing so. Uh, which I can even show you one of them. shortly. No, but we will be doing shaders again. Always shaders, always rigs, always animations, always stuff not working the way it should. 'Tis the life. Whom underscore body. I'm gonna call this head instead. Head. Body. Do. Fruit. Do. So yeah, this is just setting up the deformation skeleton for our little ghosty boy here. To get him all squared away and such. Which... Oh, do. Perfect. How you guys doing today? Anyone do anything fun over the weekend? Any fun, exciting stuff? And you know, we might do a chunk of this, and then we might also, I don't know, we'll dip in and out of stuff. We'll do a whole bunch of different stuff today. Today is a fun relaxation day. Right. Battery name. We'll quick find everything that says deform. I replace that with target. And then get rid of the 0.001 with nothing. Yeah. Oh, no. Hold on. Did I accidentally press duplicate twice? No, I just had the wrong thing selected. Smooth. There we go. Boom. Boom. Turn off deformation for all of this. Heck yes. Turn all these guys back on. We should have L contact. I don't know what that means. Oh well. So yeah, just making a deformation skeleton and then a target skeleton, which basically is a way of separating the bones that you're going to be applying controls to from the bones that are not going to be deforming anything. Which I actually had sort of the first encounter where I was like, oh, that's why to do it that way, which is pretty cool. So if I turn all this on, all of this should be green. This is good. Then I should be able to take everything, do symmetrize, get the left arm in there, and then this should be our rig, and it's going to be very, very simple, but there is a cool new little mechanism that I learned that I can show you. For example, tool. No, sorry, mech. So one of the first things I can do here is we'll go out and we will take this and we'll go Control P with automatic weights. And now if I go into pose mode and hide the deformation bones, these should move everything. I'll need and want to do a little bit of weight painting, but there's some cool stuff. I'll show you in a minute here. I think first couple things to do is I'll take this guy and switch its direction here, and we'll call this control_head, which is nifty, and this goes to that, keep offset, and then this goes to the root, keep offset. So now I can rotate. Oh, this should also edit mode here, keep offset. So now I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Perfect. And I'll actually add in, you know what I'll do is I'll add in another controller, flip that guy around 180 degrees, and I'll call this control_flips, like such. This will make a Euler guy, so he only exists in the X, Y, Z. I'll actually do only X, Z, Y, and I'll lock the Y axis, right? Yeah, that's what we'll do. And this actually should be a tool for the head, and then we'll do this actually goes up to there, this goes up to there, and then this guy follows that guy. So now we can do we should be able to do full flips for the character, going like this, which is cool. And then full rotations going in. Oh no, it should be XZY. That's what. Oh, it is XZY. I just locked the wrong axis. There we go. And he can do flips like this as well. So these are the two axes that he can do flips. Is he can go along this direction here, and he can go along this direction here. If the bone was facing the right way, which is it's not, and is probably why. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And I actually think I want that to be more like right here. So now, if I hide that, we've got the tool this. So here's a fun one that I learned recently, is if I have, and I can also use this position-wise, which will probably work well. So I believe this one is that should be a damp track, this should be a damp track, and that should be a damp track. So what I can do here, and I might need this to follow this rather than control flips. But yeah, you can create a cool little, essentially that motion, which is nifty. And that is a thing that I learned recently, is just creating that sort of motion there. And I believe if I press play, let me take a look at some of these constraints here. Yeah, no, that should be correct. Or maybe it was, let's see here. Maybe it was that these should have like lower influence, I think. Lower influence, I believe, makes them more springy. Yes, I should be able to put limits on all of this. There we go. That's what it is. Is the more the lower the influence here of the damp track, the more springy it is, sort of, for lack of a better description there. So we can basically create kind of this fun motion, and since the bones are disconnected, in theory here, whoosh, yeah, it just does. I don't know if you can see a little bit of extra like wiggle movement there, but that's pretty cool. And then this can also sort of be done all on its own, which maybe I'll give this one additional controller just for doing the like, this is control flips, which is like supposed to be sort of the whole thing. And what we'll do is we'll grab one more bone here. And I'll put that sort of here. Control _ tail. And I'll do that to that and that to that. I did that in the wrong order. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. So this should still control the flips, and now this guy here is still locked. I'll do this. But now I can do this, and it should control... That looks like that bone needs to be in the same place as this one, which isn't the end of the world. There we go. So now we can do some fun, some fun stuff there. It's not the craziest thing, but it sort of works. I actually might... we'll do the influence all the way up here at like 0.75 or yeah, 0.75, and then we'll reduce that as it goes 0.5, and then this is like 0.35. Was that a difference of 15.65? Do 0.675. So now there's a little bit more wiggle as it goes down the tail there. Perfect. So we got that. We got the head, which we can control and send around as we want here. And I don't think there's even necessarily something particularly fancy to do with the arms. I think each arm just is kind of an FK thing. Let me make sure that these are oriented upwardly. And then the rest is just a little bit of weight painting. So we can move the whole character around. We can do flips along various axes for the character. Specifically, the two axes, we can do flips like this, and we can do flips along this axis. No flips around the Z, which is fine. And then we've got a control for the tail, which lets us wiggle a little bit here, and then a control for the head. So just a little bit of weight painting for all of that, and it should be good. And we'll just spend most of the rest of the evening making a couple little animations here. Can control? It can. That's fine. So yeah, that's it. That's like the whole thing. We'll do like a couple custom shapes, just a few custom shapes. Hello. Voita? Not sure how to pronounce that. I'm gonna say Voita. But hello, welcome on in. We are making, for anybody who doesn't know, I am getting more in the mode of trying to have a plan for the evening, but because I got distracted over the weekend with the other thing that I'm making and working on, I don't have a plan this evening, so tonight is the night of ultimate chill, as we're not really trying to do anything here nor there in particular. So we just chilling and making the last character for our game. Tool underscore arm dis.l. We'll do tool underscore arm pro l tool underscore arm dis dot I'm sorry, that's dot r. Yep, so what is that? 3 body controls, a root bone, and then this, and then that'll be that. We'll go ahead and weight paint that and make some little animations here. I wonder if I should have another control down somewhere like right in here, for creating kind of like a sway back and forth for the tail. Does that make sense? I might do that, and let me experiment a bit with just doing that. So if I do this here and I say like, okay, this has a damp track to that, and that has a damp track to this. So this follows this. Yes. And then this. Is that the difference there? Okay. Can I parent that? Will that do any strange behavior? I don't actually know the limits of what this will do. Yeah, that is strange behavior. Okay. Let's parent this to the root, and then give it a copy location. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's all going so wrong. Here, calm down. There we go. Damp track to that. This thing's parent is the root. And then this bone constrains us with a copy location. So now that's fine. and a copy rotation from local to local and local to local. So now and then this, what I'm trying to get is kind of like an even more of a lag or like a wave in this chain, which clearly is going super duper well. I wonder let's kind of just abandon that idea. Right, distal. Yeah, let's just kind of abandon that idea. That's fine. Figuring stuff out as I go along here. Let's do that. Let's do that weight painting. Don't weight paint. Give me this guy. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. Take all of this. Hide all of those guys and turn on just these guys. There we go. So, weight 0. And you know, there was also Cool. Yeah, there we go. Just get rid of all of the weights here. So that it only affects just that one area. Now if that's off, it should be just that. And then this guy... Perfect, perfect. There we go. And then let's see how that moves, given some of what we've got so far. So the tail still moves, but now it's just the tail that moves, which is awesome. Control flips still sort of does everything there. It is moving something in a way it shouldn't, which is fine. Oh, there's some vertices that are not. So anything like that will only ever happen if there's some vertices that either have not 100% weight split between them, or zero weight. So if I move everything back to sort of where it's supposed to be, let me see if I can spot which. It looks like exactly the vertices on that crease that I've made there are not currently affected by anything. So we turn on the deformation ones and hide basically everything else. So it's those vertices exactly need to have some kind of weight painting applied to them, because currently it seems that they have none. Yes. So I assume that I'll actually give them weight here. We'll do that, and we'll give them a weight of even. I feel like 1 is a bit extreme, but we'll do something like that. We'll see how that works. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Turn on the root there. Yeah, now we don't have anything stretching out and getting pulled around and left behind. So that should be pretty much everything there. I'm going to take these guys and remove them from here and put them into here. This guy I'm going to remove from here and put down over into here. And same for all of these guys as well. And all of this just gets to live in this area, which we don't really need to see ever. So these are our only controls for everything. And that should be plenty to animate our little ghost. I'll give him some custom controls. But for the most part, that should be good to go. So we'll do that. We'll do cursor to selected. Dragon here, cursor to selected. And then back in object mode, I will do a plane. And I'll call this plane shape underscore flips. We'll go back into each here, and we'll just do this for each of these. So here, click, doom, cursor to selected, and then we'll add in a new plane, and this will be called shape underscore tail. Here. Is that bone upside down? It is upside down. That needs to be rotated the wrong way. Boom. Shift C. There we go. That change anything it shouldn't have? Cool. Cursor to selected. Add in a new plane. shape underscore ghost head. In a new plane, this is shape underscore ghost arm proximal. And then to finally sort of cap it all off there, plane shape underscore ghost arm dis. And we'll do the root. I think can even be its own thing. So, I believe if I go in, I can do all of these just sort of as I go along here. This is the flips. Flips don't scale. And it doesn't look like it's oriented the way it's supposed to be. Oh, you know what I didn't do for any of these? Oh, I just screwed up. Hey, Knight, how you doing here? I just screwed up all of these. We have to get rid of all of these, because I'm dumb. Whoops. The thing I forgot to do for each and every one of those was, we'll do here, do that, add in a mesh, and then we'll align it to the 3D cursor. Whoops. Shape underscore flips. We are making the last character, so we got the human all squared away. And now it is time to make the rig and animations for the ghost. And since the ghost is a lot simpler, all of that should be able to do just this evening here. Shape underscore tail. So we've already laid out the deformation bones, made like simple little controls to kind of make the tail wiggle around and do stuff. And now all that's left is to go in and I'm doing a few custom shapes, just a few custom shapes. I keep forgetting to align it to the 3D cursor there. Shape underscore tail. Cursor to selected. How about you? How about anything going on there? No, this is still for the dodgeball game. This is actually for the dodgeball game, the ghost in particular. Which I realize may sound a bit strange. But yeah, this is for the dodgeball game. Shape underscore ghost arm dis. There we go. That looks much more like it is supposed to, and without me going insane here. So, so now, flips should look like that. Not scaled to length, which is good. Tail should look like this and not be scaled. Head should look like ghost head and not be scaled. This guy should be arm proximal, not be scaled, and finally this guy should be arm distal and not be scaled. Now we can go in and basically make each of these as I want them to be. Let me hide everything except... I'll start with the arm. Perfect. So yeah, this I'll probably do to make it nice and easy and simple is just a little, like, sort of, shape kind of like this. So this will be the control for the edge end of the arm in all of its strangeness. I could make that a little bit better, but as I'm fixing it literally as I speak. That'll work. Unhide this guy. And we'll do him... sort of like that. Sure, that works for me. That also works for me. So it'll be the arm and then the hands. Then for his head, vertices, edit mode. This one I'll give a mirror modifier, which is cool. That will be his sort of head and main body there. The flip controller, I lied, we'll do the flip controller next. Will just be a circle. A fancy circle. Aligned with everything. There we go. The tail controller is probably just another circle, or maybe like a stick to kind of like indicate its direction or something. We'll do, or maybe just a box. Maybe just a nice box. things are getting skewed slightly, and I'm not super positive as to why. Oh, because we're on local here. That's fine. As long as each of these is scaled correctly. Yeah. And then do only the faces. Perfect. So yeah, and then that should be, if I then hide all of those custom shapes, go back into the armature and unhide all of the bones. Oh, and we'll make a root as well. This guy over here, its bone appearance is the arm proximal, scaled and not scaled. And then same for this guy here. This is the arm distal, doom, and -1. So now we have our cute little rig where everything makes sense as to what we're doing there. And I will go ahead and make one more custom shape since there's so few for the root bone. Cursor to selected. Plane. Shape underscore ghost root. And I'll make that guy be a circle and do my classic favorite little thing here, which is pull that in and then pull this way out like such. And then last but not least, ghost root. Do not scale. Yeah, perfect. Perfect little rig. Let's start animating him. So, let's see here. Let me go back over to my little animation tree. Get rid of all of these little guys, which are all of the extreme poses here for walk cycle for a character there. And let's start sort of animating this guy. So what I need is I need a idle, a slow movement, and a fast movement. And we're going to make sort of each of those pretty much right now. So I think that the idle, I kind of want the idle to be like a gentle sort of figure 8 motion that he's doing. So we'll grab sort of this whole controller here. And we'll start with just that sort of gentle figure 8 movement, right? So probably go here. I'm going to do, I guess the extremes, because I did a big old talk a few streams ago about animation and like coming up with extremes, right? Is what I'll do is I'm going to insert a keyframe here for location, and this is going to be right in the middle. There should be a keyframe on either side, so I'll say he goes to the I'll say he goes to his right first. So there should be something like, I'll make it really extreme and exaggerated for now. So here I'll do IL, right? So that's 1, 2, oh shit. Move forward a little bit. IL. Move forward a little bit. IL. And then there. So. And these are pretty extreme. So there's going to need to be like, whoop. Oh, I love it. I love it. And then following that, he's going to do basically the same thing and come down over to here, IL, move forward a little bit, come up to here, IL, up to here, IL, and then return back to center here. Swoosh, swoosh. Now the thing about that is that, presumably I want him being in the center to be, I guess, the first frame. So I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to move this over a little bit. And I'm just going to pop one more over here. And then I'm going to take the end and do that one frame before he hits back to that neutral position. So now he just does sort of like this, right? Obviously, we're going to slow this down and tweak this so it's a little bit more ethereal, because that is a wild party ghost. But that's how we're starting this here. So I'm going to look at the curves. And the good news is that a lot of these things are pretty straightforward. So if you've never looked at curves in animation before, one of the cool things you can do that is, I don't know if this is like a standard anywhere else. I don't know if this is a thing that you like should do or best practices, but I like to add in down here on the timeline, basically just as many keyframes as I can. I'll go in and I'll just be like, keyframes everywhere, just go crazy, man. And then after I've got a lot of keyframes, right, I can see very, very distinct patterns in my graphs here. So this graph is showing you just like one bone. And one of the things we're seeing about this is that in the Y location, that's the forward and backward channel, there's no movement, but apparently I somehow got a slight amount of movement in there. Maybe I'll keep that, maybe I won't, I don't really know. But I can look at other channels, specifically the X-axis, right, which is going to be this red channel here. And I can see that I've got a movement that is very consistent in how it goes back and forth, and I want to keep that. And I can see what that looks like here, and I can see that currently it's very choppy and it's very uneven. Well, I can take the keyframes that I did put in, and I can start removing them from this equation, equation up here, and using the wonderful qualities of Bezier curves to make this just all the more appealing, right? So I'm going to take this keyframe right here, and I'm just going to get rid of it. Boop, don't need that. There's one more in the middle here, I don't need that guy, and there's one more here, and I don't need that guy. So now all of the keyframes that were in the middle there, I've just changed to a Bezier curve, and I got rid of all of them just in that one channel of that one bone along one axis, right? So it's a very, very small adjustment. But now, in theory, and if I go across a number of the other ones here, now he should be moving left and right and back and forth just much more smoothly, right? The other thing, too, is that I can take everything in this channel, and I can scale it along like the y-axis, for example, to make it so that he moves much less left and right. Or I can scale it really, really high and make him really go out there, right? So with clean graphs, if you have a very, very clean graph, you can go through the process of like really, really fine adjusting how everything is supposed to work. I think, and you could do all sorts of stuff, like this would create its own like unique motion, right? That's like lopsided. So there's a lot more to it. I love this song. I'm going to turn it up a little bit for myself. So we're essentially going to take a look at some of the graphs and just clean them up like that, right? So here I have Z, for example. And here we can see this is both times where he moves upward, right? And then both times where he moves downward. I don't really need all of the junk in the middle. That's like not really adding anything, right? As long as these other graphs or these other bits of the graph here are doing what they need to. I'm going to curve that down and then curve this up a little bit so it's a little bit more smooth, I guess, for lack of a better description. I'm going to bump that over just a little bit, and that should alone look a lot smoother in how he does this. Which is cool. I'll take all of these channels in general, and I'm going to do Shift E, I believe, and make them cyclic. And now I can really see how those animations are going to tie into one another, right? So one of the stutters that's happening, right, is because of this keyframe here and the fact that the handles are like laid out so you can see this bip, right? So as he's moving back and forth, it's not a smooth motion because that levels out. I could take out that keyframe completely, but I think it's kind of important. So I'm going to just instead try and align it across these two different axes over here, so it's a much smoother transition. And here we can see exactly that over there is now he's just moving much more smoothly. If this is the x-axis, I think I'm just trying to like think of a motion, right? Is that I want the motion to be much like really smooth as it goes in over here. And so as he's going to the left and right, he spends a lot of time over here, slowly going up, and then he like swooshes over and swooshes over. So in order to do that, it would specifically be that each of these extremes actually would have, in theory, quite large, flat qualities to them, right? So the longer something takes, the flatter it is, and like the more upright and like straight up and down something is, the shorter it is, right? So by flattening these out and really spreading them into this pattern, he should like move quickly to one side into a nice slow motion, stay over there, and then like go back, right? So that should be the motion that we're kind of like trying to create here. So now let's see how it goes. That's maybe a bit too fast because now we're just drawing an X, right? But these are things that we can sort of like scale down. And you know what I think as well? I think that this animation is just too short. It's just too short, right? Is we're now playing with stuff on like a level where it's too short. So I mentioned this last time, just the idea of like timing how long it actually takes things to happen. So here I've got a phone, I've got a timer on my phone, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like literally act out like the motion that I feel it should be and see how long that is, because I have no earthly idea how long this thing should take in like my brain space here, right? So I'm gonna hit start and I'm gonna do what I feel like should be the course of this motion. I'm just gonna do it a couple times and see about how long that motion takes me, right? So it's a ghost, should be moving kind of slowly and ethereally, right? So we'll go. And as weird as this is, right? It's giving me an interesting insight, which is that it seems that about the total time for me to make that whole motion in like sort of a reasonable way, I think, is about 4.5 to 5 seconds, right? Which is a long time. But let's give it a try and let's see how that goes. I feel like that's maybe longer than I want it to be. And let me also make sure that I'm moving at 30 frames per second here. So math, because I don't want to, 30, 150 frames? Jeez, Jeebus. Right, so based, oh my goodness. Based on the little, like, test I just did for myself. No, this is just an idle animation. This is just a ghost floating around, side to side, just chilling. But based on kind of what I've done so far, seemingly I would want this to be an animation that lasts about this long. Whoa! Let's see how that looks. And that's already looking a lot better. I think 5 seconds is too long. I'm going to take this down to 120 and bring it to whoop, something in more like that, right? So that seems much more reasonable for how I sort of am imagining this ghost to move. So let's work on sort of that back and forth motion just on this, right? Let me take the x-axis here. We'll look at him from the front, right? He's doing a lot of movement. I don't want it to be quite that much, so I'm going to scale that down. And let me actually move all the way to here. So this is going to be the most extreme distance he's going to move. We'll do something kind of like that. So he's just sort of chilling in here. And I'll lower the Z as well. And in fact, I'll do that right now. So at his neutral point, he's about there. At his lowest, he's maybe about here. And at his highest, that's really high. Bring that into about there. So now this is kind of the more subtle motion that he's doing. Yeah. So let me look at that X again. Spread this out. Spread that out. Spread. Do I even need that? Well, that... Yeah, I do. Yeah, there we go. I could even spread those out just a little bit more to like increase that transition in the middle. And I don't think that would be necessarily like a problem at all. Oops. Too much. Heck yeah. Cool. So that's just one bone, unfortunately. What keyframe do I have here? Something got moved around. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, so this is just sort of this left and right, backwards, forwards motion here, right? It's still a bit fast. I can slow that down even more. Okay, I'm gonna stop mucking with it because I could spend forever on it. So we got that there. I'm gonna do just a little bit of forward and backward, and then we'll call it there for sort of that. And with those, I might even call that sort of my keyframes, right? And then just do like straight ahead runs on the individual components because there's so few of them throughout this process. So we'll say that the extremes are each of these 8 locations as we move in a figure 8 to make it clear that that's the motion that we're doing. Call those the extremes. And then we can like sort of start breaking down and having a fun kind of animation bit using just yeah. And I might do these a bit more sort of wildly and randomly. So he's not really going one way or another. He's kind of like doing strange stuff. Like that. Not great, but it's fine. We'll move on. So with that being just sort of my big frames that I'm going with here, I'm gonna say that starting off, and I'll do just rotations for all of these. So here we'll start off, and as he goes down, there's maybe like sort of like a slight drag to his arms here. So I'll take this and I'll move it up and I'll move it out just like this. R, and we'll move along just a little bit more. And then do rotations, IR. And like I say, so this is doing this as a kind of the straight ahead part, right? Is I'm not uber concerned with any particular like consistency at the moment. All of this is just whatever feels kind of fun to do. Right? Because I get to do just sort of whatever I think like would be ghosty. And then I'll take that first frame and I'll drag it all the way over to here. So now let's see what just that one arm does. Does some wild stuff. This is where I'm going to go look at the graphs and just try and smooth it out a whole bunch. So let's take a look at X here. X is doing some wild stuff. I could probably get rid of that, bring this down, scale it up. I'm going to move that up more. One of the nice parts about the graphs is that characters move in arcs. It's always about arcs. Arcs are like the fun magic thing that make animation go burr. And so in just changing all of these things so that they match, if you will, that's what will create like convincing animations. So here I'm going to get rid of that guy. So now his arm does kind of a wild ghosty thing here. And I don't like that. He's moving just a bit too fast. He's moving a lot too fast. There's just too much movement. Too much movement. So I'm going to take everything in this channel here and just scale it like way the hell down. Part of it is that I'm not able to use a... Can I normalize this? I can. Blech. Oops. Right. Because of quaternions. Just make it way more... Goes all the way up to 1. just taking it down. Trying to figure out what looks good. I don't really like any of this. I might try a different approach. Let's not start with the arms. Let's start with the head instead. I know I just made a whole bunch of keyframes only to delete them, but you know, stuff happens. So let's go with instead the head. And I'm going to try and essentially the goal that I had in my head for the head was to kind of orient it in the direction that he's moving as he goes throughout all of this. So if it starts off with him going down and to the right there, boop boop boop. Take a look at this. So here I'm going to tilt that down ever so slightly. R, and then rotate it this way ever so slightly. Where do I have my first sort of hit for like this downward location? Right? Here, then we'll sort of like rotate up and do even just a little bit more to the side. Check to see where my next big keyframe is, which is here. And at this point, we'll rotate this back in this direction. My R, select this guy. RX. And just see how that first sort of bit looks. The answer is kind of crazy still. Part of it is that it's so choppy. And this coincidentally is one of the things that you use like controls for. And rotations is just quaternions are kind of a mess and a jumbled up nightmare. So like remember that what makes this is the fact that the more vertical any of these graph lines are, the quicker an action happens. And so let me I have a quick demonstration as like sort of a fun thing. Give me a second to go on a rant here. Let me make a ball. And we're going to do this as a bouncing ball. So one of the things, let me put a come on, timeline down here. And this should have no keyframes. Okay, cool. So just as like an example, right? One of the things about 3D animation is if you have a ball that is, and I'll do some automatic keyframes here. So do that. I'll scooch forward here. Ball comes down, right? Ball bounces up. Ball comes down again. Bounces up. Comes down again. Maybe not quite that high. There. So this is the bouncing ball. This is like the quintessential animation test, right? The thing about this little animation that we've made here, right? About our little bouncing ball is a question that I get sort of asked a lot is about, like, doesn't animation for a computer make everything easier? And the answer is that in some ways, yes, and in other ways, no. One of the issues with what we've got going on here, specifically with just the ball that we do have, is that Computers only like go from one thing to a second thing directly. Like they don't like curves very much. So and they don't like just slowing things down, and there's a lot of things that computers don't like to do. So when you create like a bouncing ball like this, oops, um, one of the things about it is that this is done and has kind of like no respect or regard for any of the like laws of physics, if you will. So like if I bring all of those like that, and so here we have, it should be doing each of the things. It's just that there's no like no time spent. Like everything is even. Everything has been spaced out evenly. I'm really struggling to find my words to try and describe this. Computers are so good at doing things in like really direct fading transitions that if you wanted to have a situation here where you had like a bouncing ball, one of the things that you would need to do to a graph like this is, funnily enough, make it look a lot more like a bouncing ball, right? So even just on this first bounce, if I change these motions to like better sort of coincide with what a ball does, and then take this and make it a lot more like such, you know, so that the point where it like lands on the ground is much sharper, you can see immediately how that changes the animation, right? That there's oh man, I've lost track of the point I was trying to make. The note in general is just that, like, I guess that animation is hard. The more that you want something to be like slow and smooth, the more effort you have to put into it, which is true of traditional 2D animation, just as it is true of like 3D animation. So doing things on a computer does not make anything easier, despite the number of people who ask that question constantly. So now we have our ball, and he does his like sort of bounce and hang in airtime. Ooh boy, I got lost in the sauce there mentally. That was a thing I was trying to describe that I thought would be cool that just did not go anywhere really quickly. Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to the ghost. I'm so sorry. This boy? Yes. And this boy? Yes. I think it had something to do with the fact that, like, in his, like, first initial, section here, like the part that I have animated, the problem is essentially that his head just snaps in a diamond following those 4 points, right? And that's because the only sort of effort that's been put in so far is to make it. I've only done the 4 keyframes, right? And there's no nuance happening between those keyframes, so it looks like he's just like, which is not very good. And smoothing it out is a pain in the butt. Let me try something. Let me delete all of those. Well, no, we'll go ahead and delete all of them. Boom. Let me try something here. So, let's do, what numbers do I give these? I'll give it 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, then 3. And we go back to 0. And then we do 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, and then we make it back to 0. There. So using those markers, now that I actually have like some indication, right? 0 is coming down from... So we'll do a slight down, right? To neutral. To up. To neutral. To down again. To neutral. This one should be up. To neutral. And then finally back down to down again. And that should at least get that kind of motion going on. And then we'll give it like a left-right at each of those keyframes. It is amazing how easy it is to forget how to animate as you do things. So we'll do like that, and then from the top here, let me rotate this around so I can see what I'm doing. Here, because all of this is supposed to be a frame or a pose ahead of where everything is going on, right? So this is a... No, right, this is facing down. So it's not only facing down, it should also be facing out. This is facing out, but less. So like lots of outward facing, less outward facing, no outward facing, slight, or no, strong to the other side, strong to the other side, less strong to the other side, no facing, strong this way, strong this way. A little bit. A little bit. A little bit. Starting to look better. Starting to look better. Give him his little tail wiggle here. Something like that. With, we'll also add in a little bit of upwards and down as well. Oh my goodness. So this is supposed to be the idol. um which I never actually gave a name. Ghost idol. And we'll go back to this guy. Stash, that's what I want. Give me this. I'll call this Ghost. We'll do Ghost Run, because I think it'll be easier to sort of like, if this is roughly what our idol is, and I'll polish this up later. But if this is roughly what the idol is, and then I know roughly what the run is, that'll probably like make it clear how to do the walk in the middle. So for this, I'm just going to take everything and quick get rid of it. So this will probably just be like a snaking motion. That actually would be really, really easy. So for like a flag, let me get rid of a lot of these. So for a run is, we'll say down first, or here, no, put that in right there. Move forward a bunch of frames. Here. Move forward a bunch of other frames. Back up. And then back to the original position. In that at 80. This is the up. Something like that. And I'll need to adjust that over here. So the idea is that he'll go like, and that'll be the like running motion. So here, we'll rotate that down and this up. Rotate that down even more and this up even a little bit higher. And do way up, do that way down. And then do just no rotation on either of those guys. A little janky. A little janky. That can probably be fixed in the graphs. So let's see here. Z location. Make cyclic. The alts. There's one of these buttons that hides everything except the one you're working on. Get the rotation for this guy. And he probably needs some forward and backward motion with that as well. Oh my goodness. You know what? Also give me... I think I'm tired as hell as well. I can feel myself not thinking anything through and just sort of going bananas here. I really want that to be like more... Yeah. And then I think that probably just takes a little bit more time. I realize I haven't said anything in like a hot minute here. I apologize. Yeah, I think I might just need rest. Something more like that. Kind of. Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, I think I might just need rest. Because I'm spacing, I'm tripping This is like the second one of these I've had today. Not really paying attention. Also, I like a little burnt out from animating the human over the course of the weekend. And I just don't want to look at these graphs anymore. But we can get through it. I probably tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. Um, actually, hmm, debating about what to do for the rest of the week. Um, because the global game jam is coming up, which should be not. Let me double check this here. Not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend is the global game jam, and I'll be participating in that. So, I think on it would be the Tuesday of that week. Probably won't be streaming, which should be the 23rd. Um, Tomorrow, I'm gonna try and have these animations done by Wednesday. I'm gonna try and have all of this stuff done by Wednesday, which means that we can spend Thursday and Friday navigating the Steamworks pages and trying to figure out how to get that up and working. And then having these characters actually run around in the environment. So, with that said, trying to decide what to do for tomorrow. Tomorrow might just be another work day. Tomorrow might just be another relax, come hang out, boop around work day. It's weird because sometimes, like, a stream and everything like makes sense. Like sometimes there's whether someone asks a question or something like that, and just everything like hits, and it feels like a really, really, really good stream. Today did not feel like a good stream, so I apologize to you guys. But yeah, no, just like weird lethargy, not really a clear idea of what's going on or what to do or what to talk about. And it just sort of is like I don't know. I haven't quite figured out the whole streaming thing yet. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for tomorrow, but I know what I'm going to do after I get through this. Um, so I'm debating about whether or not I should stream tomorrow, or if I should just get this done. This is my little can opener, by the way. It's a little bird. Chirp, chirp. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Streaming's weird, man. This whole process, this whole everything is like a weird, weird place to be. I'll figure it out though, I guess. I mean, I've come a long way so far. Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. Tonight feels strange. I will figure out at least something to do for next time. There may or may not be a stream tomorrow. It sort of depends on how much of this I get done and how entertaining I think it is to watch me slap my head into a wall, which I can't imagine is very entertaining at all. I have to imagine that that is deeply boring. But yeah, I don't know. We shall see. But I'll call it there. I will get some rest. You guys also get some rest. And we'll try and figure out everything going into the morning and getting it done after this. So, you guys have a good evening. Get some rest. I'll do the same. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Sorry this it turned out weird. Streaming's still hard and I haven't quite figured it out yet, but we'll get there.